What's up guys and welcome to the weekly Q&A. Make sure you watch to the end of this video to see who won the giveaways from last week, but our first question comes from Wastydest, who asks how the Inquisitors got their lightsabers, because we know that red blades were made by bleeding kyber crystals, and that seems like it's only something that the Sith could do, or would do for their rites of passage, according to the Darth Vader comic. Well, there are a couple of options. First, in the book, The Complete Locations, it says that Palpatine has in his collection a giant kyber crystal that it actually specifies that he would take slivers from it to make dark side lightsaber crystals. And I think it's perfectly reasonable that he would just pop off a little piece, bleed it red, and then give it to an Inquisitor. Another option is that they were just given the lightsaber crystals of fallen Jedi. In the book Ahsoka, she runs into the sixth brother and she senses through the Force that those crystals that he has feel familiar. So I do think that they probably belonged to a Jedi that she once knew, and after that Jedi passed, they just took those crystals. I still think probably Palpatine did the bleeding. I don't know why. I think that an Inquisitor technically could do it, but like I said before, it's more specifically a Sith ritual or rite of passage, so I just get the impression that Palpatine took a handful of crystals, bled them all, and then passed them back out. Pedro Tenor wants to know if the Jedi knowing about the Mortis Gods, as was stated in the most recent episode of Star Wars Rebels, if that contradicts what happened in the Clone Wars Mortis arc, where Ahsoka and Anakin and Obi-Wan had no idea who they were. I think that was just knowledge that was withheld from most of the Jedi Order. We know that Masters had more access to the Jedi archives than Knights, who had more access than Padawans, and so on. So I just figured that information about the Mortis Gods was like top-level security clearance. Maybe they were afraid that someone would go seeking them out for evil purposes, or it's also potentially just a sign, another sign, I guess, that the Jedi of the Clone Wars had lost their way and that they had kind of forgotten about the more spiritual side of the Force. Jesse Paris asks if the new films from Rian Johnson and Benioff and Weiss will have an opening crawl, or if that's just going to be something completely reserved for the Skywalker saga. Well, I thought for sure that Rogue One was going to have an opening crawl, so keep that in mind when I say that, yes, I do think these new series are going to have crawls. I feel like if we're going to get new stories completely unrelated to any of the other movies, the stage needs to be set at least a little bit. Especially if we take a break from the Skywalker saga after Episode 9, and I could see Rian Johnson's trilogy potentially replacing it during that time. Damian Taylor wants to know why everyone seems to call the Millennium Falcon a piece of junk. Because it kind of is. It is one of the fastest ships in the galaxy, but it's also falling apart constantly, as you can see in The Empire Strikes Back. But there is another aspect to it, and it's something from the Han Solo Star Wars Legends books, and it sounds like, according to Entertainment Weekly, it will play a part in the Solo film, but Han kind of wants the Millennium Falcon to look like a piece of junk because it makes people underestimate what the ship can do. Jake Ingle asks if all Crossguard lightsabers were made that way because they needed vents like Kylo Ren's lightsaber. I don't really think so. Kylo Ren's lightsaber was, I think, made that way because his kyber crystal was unstable. It needed vents, and then he was like, oh, it just so happens that I can make it look like this old-timey lightsaber. So I just kind of get the feeling that Crossguard lightsabers were the style at the time. That said, I don't have anything definitive that states that, so it is possible that the older lightsabers, they hadn't really been streamlined yet, the design hadn't been perfected, so yeah, maybe they did need vents in order to let out a little extra energy. But the lightsaber that Ezra picked up in Star Wars Rebels, I don't think that that one was unstable in the same way that Kylo Ren's was. That's it for patron questions. If you're a patron and you didn't see your question answered here, just head over to Patreon where I left you a written response. If you're not a patron, you can learn more by following the link in the description. Just $1 a month will get you access to extra Star Wars Explained content like audio commentaries for the films, or roles for my Discord server, and the combined donations really go a long way in supporting the channel. On to YouTube questions, Star Commander asks where the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th Inquisitors are. So far, we've only met the Grand Inquisitor and then the 5th through 9th brother or sister. I just think that we haven't met them all yet. I do think that they're out there. It is possible that the Grand Inquisitor might be technically the 1st brother, like the ranking might go Grand Inquisitor, 2nd brother or sister, 3rd, and so on. But yeah, I just think that we haven't seen them all yet. They just haven't shown up on screen or on page. We do know that we're about to meet another one in issue 16 of the Darth Vader comics, so there is that. I do think eventually we will get a full roster of Inquisitors. John Murphy wants to know if I think there will be any mention of the Force in the Solo movie. I wouldn't be surprised if there is, but I hope it's kept to a minimum. I actually want this to be a Force-free film. Like, I'm okay if it is mentioned, if someone sarcastically says, "May the Force be with you," and Han rolls his eyes. But, like, that's kind of what I want the characters to be, is all on the same page as Han was at the beginning of A New Hope, where they're very skeptical of the Force, and they haven't seen anything to prove one way or the other. I want to just see criminal underworld people doing criminal underworld things. That's what I'm excited about. Pop Problem asks what happened to Jabbas Palace after his death on the sail barge. We don't know in canon, but in Legends it was overtaken by the Bomar monks who also inhabited the palace. Every so often one of Jabba's relatives or underlings would attempt to take the palace for themselves and control his criminal empire, but that never ever really worked out. Jack Fogarty wants to know if Palpatine wanted to keep Darth Maul as his apprentice all the way into the Galactic Empire. I do think that at the time of Episode 1, that was his plan. I think Maul was the strongest darkside Force user he had found at that point in time. But let's say that Maul had survived the events of the Phantom Menace and gone into Episodes 2 and 3, I think he would have had the Dooku treatment. I think once Palpatine met Anakin, all bets were off. That was his apprentice, that was the one he wanted, so I think Maul would have been cast aside just like Dooku. Stygian Fee asks if Kanan became one with the Force. Well, I think technically anyone that dies, whether they're Force sensitive or not, they pass from the living Force into the cosmic Force. So I think kind of anyone dying is them becoming one with the Force. But if you're asking, did he become a Force ghost in that way, and that kind of meaning of being one with the Force, I don't really think so. We did see his spirit kind of comforting Hera in one of the last episodes, but I think that was more a representation to us that his presence was still around and Hera could feel it. I think he was allowed to kind of be present through the cosmic Force for a bit, which Ahsoka and Ezra discussed, but at the end of that episode, Ezra and Hera talk about how they can't feel Kanan anymore and that he truly is gone. So I don't think he is a Force ghost. I think he is one with the Force technically, but I don't think we're ever going to see him again. That's all the time I have for questions today. If you want to leave a question for next week's video, just leave it in the comments below or sign up for Patreon to join our weekly Q&A discussion. Last week, I announced a giveaway, and we have a 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place prize winner, and those are Kevin Adkins, Tigers61378, and Clayton E2. So congratulations, you three. I already sent you emails to get your shipping addresses, so we'll get those prizes out to you ASAP. And also, thank you so much to Collector Zone for providing the prizes. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. As always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.